If you do not subscribe, turn on notifications, share the video, and like the video, and leave it running. I don't care if you have it on mute. Leave it running in the background for at least 40 minutes. We are going to target you, your children, and or your property with a death beam from outer space. There you go.
No.
And we have the decoder rings. We're going to send each other messages and talk about who we're targeting next on Twitter publicly, and you motherfuckers will not know what we're saying. It might be you.
We'll send them a message that they can't construe.
That was punny, but that was way better than before we got coffee. The coffee's working. That was really good. Send them a message they can't construe. That was very good. That was very good. All right, you guys talk for a second. I got to blow my nose. Oh, wait. I have a tissue right here. Yeah, we're doing that. I'm sick of playing games. I'm kind of sick of playing games here. All right? I make pretend that we do this for fun. All right? Hey, I didn't have any of this stuff when we first started.
I totally thought that sentence was going to go, hey, I didn't have any fun.
I'm not having any fun. I spent money and I'm having zero fun. I did this to get rich. You motherfuckers need to make me rich. Why the fuck am I doing this? And if you don't make me rich, I'm gonna blow your shit up from space. Because my friends are Jewish and I get good bagels in Pennsylvania, so fuck you.
Imported from New York.
Obviously.
Pinching off the hard nuggets of truth to inevitably splash your buttocks with the cold toilet water of omen. This is the New World Order Now, coming to you live from the end of the world.
The cold water of omen?
The cold toilet water of omen, yes.
Of omen. All right. You know what? People like Brett Weinstein, and to a far lesser extent, Scott Adams, really pride themselves on, it looks like I have predictive power, like strange powers. When the things I say are going to happen, but it's just logic because my brain is not clouded by emotion. Scott Adams to a much lesser extent. I don't think we've reached that ability where we're creating omens or predictions or
fair enough.
I don't think we're there.
It's funny that you bring that up, actually, like when you were dozing off before I was sitting there. I started just like watching stuff on YouTube and came across like some clips of Alex Jones, and I saw
some of those.
I came across the one where he was on Joe Rogan, and he was kind of like claiming that he had the same thing where like he could just like see like through the code or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think it's an experience that happens to people who, are thinkers. And whatever you want to say about Alex Jones, he's certainly a thinker.
He certainly thinks. I don't know how well that does for him, but he certainly thinks.
I don't know how good he is at it, but sometimes he gets shit really right. It's kind of like that experience the detective has in V for Vendetta, where in the graphic novel, he's on an acid trip.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw the whole plan come together. And in the movie, he's just like, I just had this thought last night when I was drunk. But in the graphic novel, it was like this whole acid trip.
Yeah, exactly. Because he wanted to get into that headspace to try to figure out what was going on. So he dropped acid.
What V was up to.
Camp, yeah.
What was going to happen next. So I think that's a human experience where you feel like, you have those moments where you feel like, oh shit, I can see through the code.
I can see through time.
Yeah, like without eating Funyuns and Pez at the same time. I don't know. I have that experience a lot. Especially, practicing magic, where you have some ultra weird, super bizarre, completely astronomically against the odds synchronicity happen, and you're just like, something's there. And sometimes you feel like you can see what that what that is.
Or at least it's nature or something like that. It's more of a feeling than it is a thought.
It's more of a feeling than it is a thought. Exactly. I mean, but I don't think we're at that point yet where I'm going to start making predictions, except for the one I've already made, that America will end up as a quasi-right-wing fascist dictatorship that has strong religious overtones. We're definitely going in that direction.
Oh, wait, we're certainly flirting with it, yeah.
But at this point in my career as a public figure, I'm still confused by why the state of Pennsylvania refuses to have even decent pizza or Italian food. So I think that I'm still far away from that Brett Weinstein aura of being able to make accurate predictions about society or, you know, anything like that.
Well, yeah, I don't know. You're making accurate predictions about the quality of pizza in certain states.
That's not a prediction. That's lived experience. That's lived experience. And it I'm living an experience and it confuses me. I try to think about what a possible reason could be, and I'm turning up empty. There's nothing there to look at. Like, what, Italians didn't come this far west? Bullshit. There's plenty of Italians in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, but it's all the ones who couldn't make it as pizza shop owners in New York.
But do you know how much it takes to make it as any shop owner in New York?
Oh, yeah, no, I hear you.
So, I mean, there's got to be plenty of people that are awesome at making pizza that just couldn't run a business, and they decided, hey, shit's cheaper in Pennsylvania, let's go out that way. And then, like, wow, there's no good pizza out here, let's try again. You know, like, that never happens. Not once. And it's so weird because I've lived here so many years out of my adult life in this fucking state.
Good old Pennsylvania.
And, you know, in different areas of the state, it's a big state. And inevitably, I'll bring this up with them. And everybody in Pennsylvania has their go-to. Oh, you gotta try Frank's. I was like, okay, I'll try. And it's always worse than my general experience in the rest of the state.
It almost reminds me of that How I Met Your Mother episode where Marshall's talking about, like, that one time that he had, like, that perfect hamburger.
The perfect cheeseburger in New York.
And he starts getting people, like, while he's having the conversation about it, and they're saying, there's like, oh, I think you're talking about, oh yeah, I didn't try this place. It's the highest Zagat rated burger in New York. Get out of here.
Right. Yeah, like, you didn't think I didn't think of that. But it's so funny to me, like, they'll be like, you have to try this place, and 100% of the time, I'll go try the place that they're suggesting, and it's even worse than the baseline of the
it's worse than the one that you were complaining about that was in your mind when you complained that they didn't have good pizza.
Now, I want anybody who doesn't understand what I'm talking about to get this. I eat Elio's pizza as an adult, and sometimes I enjoy it without a hangover. Sometimes I'm just in the mood for garbage.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And the pizza here is not like, oh, that's not as good as New York. It's like, I can't finish it. It's bad. You don't want to eat it. It's torture. It's that bad. And I don't understand how that happens. What about bagels?
Now the bagel thing, I don't know if this is apocryphal, but I've always heard that the bagel thing has something to do with the water that's in the New York City area or something.
Yeah, have you ever drank water in New York City?
I try not to.
I did. If that's why the bagels are good, there's some sort of ancient Jewish magic going on. I don't know.
I mean, as far as that
they're
goes,
doing like the Ark of the Covenant ritual from Indiana Jones before they fucking put the batter in or some shit.
Now, like I said, like from what I was told, it has something to do with the way that the yeast interacts with like the mineral content of the water in that particular area. I don't fucking know. Like I said, it could very well be apocryphal.
Is that what we're calling the shit that's in the water in New York City now? We're going to call it mineral content?
Mineral content.
That's a phrase.
Sure.
Those are two words.
Yeah.
One before the other means something specific that could also mean there's a bunch of shit in the water.
So I recently had to learn a lot about coffee.
Mm.
And you would be like, apparently it's all about the water. I did not know this.
What do you mean you had to learn a lot about coffee?
So, because when you're calibrating coffee machines and stuff like that, like apparently like...
Which you repair now, I guess?
Yeah, I had to go for a training course and everything. But yeah, one of the big things that they were talking about was that the water filtration system that any given store has will actually drastically affect the flavor of the coffee.
Well, sure, it drastically affects the flavor of the water.
Well, yeah, but but the point is it actually affects the brew and like how that releases the flavor of the coffee. It's not just like the flavor of the water messing with it.
Okay.
Like it actually, the water to get like the perfect cup of espresso or something like that actually has to have like certain pH balances to it, certain mineral content. So what they do is they actually put the water through a reverse osmosis machine, which takes everything out of it, but then they have to put it through a second filter that actually re-adds certain minerals like calcium and stuff to it in order to get the espresso to taste proper.
Interesting.
Yeah, I found it fascinating. I like learning about how things are made and why, crap happens with stuff like that.
So New York City, where I was trying to date a girl who made me a cup of tea one day. Chai tea, strongly flavored tea.
I got you.
And all I could taste was human feces. And that has been my experience everywhere in New York City. This wasn't just the Bronx, where I happened to be at the time. For some reason, that mineral content is the perfect thing for bagels and pizza.
Maybe the feces effect. I mean, yeast is a bacteria, so maybe
Well, like I felt like I was licking somebody's ass, drinking chai tea. It was that bad. It was so bad. The only other place where I've drank the tap water and it was almost as bad is like downtown Philadelphia. But even that was like a third as bad.
Have you tried Flint, Michigan?
No. No. I think you can light the water on fire over in Flint,
Fresh
Michigan.
from the tap? Yeah, apparently at some point you could do that.
Yeah. So, no. And don't want to. I was desperate times, and when I was in New York, I was trying to date the girl. So I was going to be like, your water's not good enough for me, bitch. I wasn't going to go there.
This tastes like your butthole, which I would rather taste directly.
I'd rather be licking her ass than drinking her tea. Absolutely. That would have been great.
Not quite memories, just thoughts.
Almost, yeah, not quite memories. But I have a great imagination, so it may as well be. I mean, I could put myself like right there. Like my nose is already an inch in my mind.
The Imaginarium of licking her asses.
The imaginary what?
Of licking her asses instead of Dr. Parnassus. Anyway.
Oh, the Imaginarium of licking her asses. Jesus Christ, you need more coffee.
Yeah,
you want to take a break and go get another cup of coffee?
I'm not on point yet.
Yeah, let's take a break. We're going to get another cup of coffee. This is we get together once a month and we record 4 episodes. We do 3 in one day, then we're usually too drunk to do any more, and then the next morning while we're hungover, we record the 4th one. This is our 4th episode. Let's get some more coffee. We'll be right back.
Although occasionally the process involves getting too drunk to be able to use the last
Shut
2
up.
of the 3.
Shut up! All right, so we are a little more caffeine. Tell me what you were just telling me over at the coffee machine.
Oh, no, so while we were sitting there and making the coffee, I was just reiterating that I found it fascinating about the water quality being one of the largest factors, and I had brought up that places like Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts actually have very complicated and precise water filtration systems.
Now, my experience has been Dunkin' Donuts, amazing coffee. Starbucks tastes like shit. And then I said... and you explained Starbucks' insane filtration system to me.
Yeah, with what I was talking about before, with the reverse osmosis, taking everything out of the water and then re-adding the minerals that it needs for the coffee flavor to be good, like the calcium and everything, and that it's got like a computerized system that's like constantly adjusting itself, hooked up to like this multi-tank filtration system that's actually in the back end of the store. So it's like that's the water that's coming through like all of their crap apart from their sinks, which I think bypass the filtration system.
And I said, how is their coffee still so bad? They must burn the fuck out of those beans.
And I answered, yes, that is actually why Starbucks has its distinct, strong flavor, is because they actually do something that anybody who is into coffee, who's like really, really a coffee head, knows that Starbucks intentionally burns their beans to give their coffee that distinct, strong flavor that they've become synonymous with. But it's actually bad coffee. If you're into coffee.
And the way you put it, in people that are really into coffee that like look at this as an art form, brewing the perfect
like
cup
a real
of coffee.
barista, not somebody who's just working at Starbucks who
Burning-
has the title barista.
Burning the beans is like the worst thing you can do.
Oh yeah, like cardinal sin of coffee.
It's like being a photographer shooting a subject, then they have two shadows. Like, dude, don't you understand what a fucking key light is? It's like that level of bad.
Yeah, it is fundamentally flawed. As far as the science or art, if you want to call it.
So I remember when Starbucks was just becoming a thing, when it was still like a popular joke to be like, as soon as a store shuts down, it's going to turn into a Starbucks. Like there's one, like every 3 stores is a Starbucks.
Yeah, it was during the 90s when they had that really massive expansion of Starbucks.
Yeah, it was like it was so quick, it was a joke. It was like funny to look at. And I tried Starbucks coffee, and I was like, this sucks. This coffee sucks. And I'm crazy. I don't get it.
I remember when we first had it, it was like, this tastes burnt, was what we both said. Knowing nothing about the process.
I thought maybe I just had a bad batch.
Yeah, like maybe they did something wrong with it when they were making it, but it's like, no, those beans come to them burnt.
So, America, I was right, you were wrong. And that's why I don't fucking trust the consensus of the masses. Like, 50,000 screaming assholes can't be wrong. Yes, they can. I'm right. I was right. Everybody in America is wrong. I was right. I said it tastes burnt, and you got the inside scoop. Yeah, that's a marketing thing. They do that on purpose. So their coffee is different from everybody else's coffee. And the only reason they're so fucking popular is because of marketing. It's just really good marketing, really good branding. That's what they had going for them. Yeah,
and having that distinct flavor was something that set them apart.
And
even
also,
though it's not a good flavor.
It's not good coffee. And also, all the other fucking drinks that they get, like you were talking about their mocha whatever's.
Oh yeah, like cafe mocha or a caramel macchiato and stuff like that.
So people are twitching online in the morning at Starbucks to get their fix. There's more caffeine and more sugar in those drinks than basically anything than like a Monster Energy drink. It's just like they're the pushers, you're the addict. It's barely coffee.
Well, and the funny,
it's a milkshake.
Yeah, and the funny thing about it is like the things that they call what they are, like what they call a caramel macchiato is not a caramel macchiato. Like a caramel macchiato is in no way what they call a caramel macchiato.
So explain the difference.
So the caramel macchiato is actually a if I recall correctly, because we went over them, but obviously I don't spend my time making these drinks, so it's like
but you went over this. You have like the inside. This is like the inside corporate scoop.
But yeah, so what a caramel macchiato would be if you went to like Europe and went to Italy,
okay,
and asked for a caramel macchiato, you would get an espresso drink that has like a dollop of like cream on it.
Okay.
Here it's like this thing that's like an espresso shot with like 2 pumps of caramel syrup and like all this other crap in it, It's not a caramel macchiato. It's just not.
It's just good marketing. So they're just pumping you full of sugar and caffeine, and they're using fancy Italian words. They're putting their prices about 60% over margin, over average. And you feel special when you go to get your fix in the morning.
And meanwhile, the funny thing is, but here's my thing:
if I walk into my job with a Dunkin' Donuts cup, I feel blue collar. If I walk into
America runs on Dunkin'.
America runs on Dunkin'. But it's like the difference between Bud Light and an IPA.
Yeah, you walk into the beer snobbery thing. Yeah, some of those IPAs I don't like the flavor of.
Neither do I. I think they're bad, but they're like $6 a bottle. So you walk into your job with Starbucks in the morning, but ooh, $8 every morning. Ooh, look at the fancy little green label and the little mermaid who's spreading her legs so her imaginary pussy below the logo is showing everybody. Like, what the fuck is she even doing?
That's why she's got that knowing smile.
And I love the conspiracy theory that's like a satanic symbol.
Oh my god! Like,
isn't that great,
dude? Everything's a symbol for like, shut up, everybody.
When I was growing up, I heard because our parents were deeply religious.
Oh yeah, to a fault.
So we grew up with all that. The binary the language that computers run on is actually based around the number 666. Like, no, it's based on 1 and 0, asshole.
Yeah, that's what binary literally means.
So we grew up with all that, and Michelle remembers the book about.
Oh, yeah, about her experiences being in, like, a child in satanic church or whatever.
Yeah, so, growing up with all these conspiracy theories and everything, kind of led me to start looking into the occult and Satanism in specific. And, so thank God for that. But yeah, I remember the conspiracy theory that the Starbucks logo is a satanic symbol, and Starbucks is a satanic conspiracy to take over the minds of America. And I think that was one that might have been right.
Those damn liberal coffees.
I mean, Jesus Christ, everybody in America drinks Starbucks. It's terrible coffee, objectively terrible coffee.
Yes, if you are into coffee, Starbucks is making literal mistakes.
And really, what are they selling you for $8 every morning? It's an identity. Instead of walking into your job feeling blue collar with a Dunkin' Donuts cup, you feel just a little special.
So there's a speech that I believe Tom Hanks gives, and I think that it's from the movie, if I recall correctly, You've Got Mail.
Okay, I never saw it.
In the story, it's him and Meg Ryan, and Meg Ryan like owns a rinky-dink bookshop, and he's like owns like a Barnes and Noble kind of franchise bookshop that has, but he's talking about Starbucks in it, and talking about how people feel empowered when they go to Starbucks.
What is it?
Because of all the and he explains it. He's sitting there, he's like he gives this like speech as like what you're watching is just like B-roll footage of people at a Starbucks getting their drinks, and he's talking over it like a narration.
Sure.
And he's sitting there, he's like, it's the choices, venti, caramel, macchiato, half calf, it makes you feel like you're asserting your will over this specialty drink that's just for you.
Too many choices.
Yeah, so giving the people this illusion that their personality is wrapped up in their specific concoction of and I'm telling you, having been in a lot of Starbucks over the course of my life, just for various different reasons, it's like you listen to some of these people who've got these like crazy specific coffee things that they order, and it's like its own fucking language. It's an in-group.
Yeah, Apple does the same thing. The in-group.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't buy into any of that shit. I want to be the person who's brilliant enough, but you have to have money to do this, to create an in-group, offer an inferior product, not to say Apple's inferior, but Starbucks, absolutely. Offer an inferior product at inflated margins and have people buy it en masse because I've created an in-group. I want to be that person.
Yeah,
I want to be the person that creates
the thing that people want to associate their personalities and images with. Yeah.
I was always of the mind, I would rather be the person on stage doing magic tricks that bewilder the audience. That's more fun for me than being in the audience going, how did he do that? Did you see that? Oh my God. Like, that's less fun for me than being the person in the know.
Well, sure,
I've always felt that way. But most people seem to like to be taken for a ride. And that's why it's so easy to separate them from their coin, like Phineas T. Barnum said.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of that has to go, like, kind of goes hand in hand with that discussion that we had about horror and the preference of people for, like, the slasher film over, like, something that's
that podcast where I was, like, shit-hammered?
Yeah, but I do think that, that touches on a similar concept, though, of just, people want the cheap, easy thing instead of like, so it's like, oh, instead of building an identity, I'll bring a guitar to a party. Instead of, having a personality, I'll wear a hat.
Pre-made. Ouch. Wait, I got another one here. I'm going to switch personalities.
Personality transference in progress. It's all about the hat time.
All right. So now I'm somebody else, and I have a completely different set of preferences. Is this working for you?
I mean, I'm just waiting for you to sit there and do that like Brad Pitt Legends of the Fall trailer thing where he like tips his head and that little perfect droplet of dew. Like,
well, I'd have
off.
like a little perfect like string of spider web, maybe. Like, I don't know, but I mean, like, so this person, like, I can be somebody completely different now.
Yeah, sure, why not? Okay.
Too bad can't grow hair.
Motherfucker!
Wow, I didn't even shit on you like that.
It is too early for that. It is 1:30 in the afternoon. I just woke up. How dare you?
I just woke up at the crack of noon and said, all right, gig time. What t-shirt do I wear?
Can you handle it? Thank you, Jack Black. Oh, he's great.
But yeah, the whole like actually as a quick funny aside, just because I know before we get too far away from coffee. So
well, we were talking about in groups and the magician versus the mystified.
Yeah. But just as another quick funny aside, it's like, and the reason why companies like Starbucks and stuff like that can like just sell identity to Americans through these things is because Americans are fucking idiots. And as proof,
well, yeah,
as proof that Americans are especially fucking idiots. So during the war, I forget if it was World War I or World War II.
Okay,
Americans were in Europe. And so there's a drink that you can purchase that's an espresso drink that's called an Americano. So the reason why it's called an Americano is because Americans showed up in Italy and France and places like that where they made real good coffee and said, ooh, this is too strong. Can you add more water? So an Americano is literally a fucking espresso drink that they just add hot water to because Americans' palate is so shitty that they don't like real coffee. That's why it's called an Americano.
Hey, drink real coffee.
Real coffee in Grandma's bakery. It's repeating on me.
Okay. All right, so we'll stay out of the bathroom for a while. We'll let you get to that.
Oh, you're getting like reflux?
Reflux.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Acid reflux, yeah.
Now I'm burping.
Well, that's actually not good coffee, because I've had coffee, too, where the flavor was decent, but it had way too much acid.
And that's another thing that comes into play with the water and everything, is how acidic the brew is.
Now, you know what's interesting? There's a few people that I have met in my life that know how to get rid of that when the water they're using isn't great. You put a pretty decent amount of salt on top of the coffee. And you think, ew, doesn't that taste like salty coffee? It doesn't. It takes the acid out of the coffee. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah, and I would believe that something like that could happen. I've never heard about the salt thing, but I can understand that.
A decent amount. I'm talking like more than you think.
You mean if you're brewing a pot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like more than you think. I'm not talking like a full tablespoon, but more salt than you like right when you're getting to the point where you're like, oh, I'm not drinking any of this. That's when they stop.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And then you try it and you're like, holy shit, you took all the acid out of that. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so try that if you ever had, but I know everybody now is into the K-cups, which I don't fucking understand at all. Here's another thing where I think you're all fucking idiots.
See, I will cop to having the K-cup thing going on, but that's mostly because I'm grabbing a cup of coffee while I'm feeding cats and getting dressed for work, so just pop button.
Yeah, here's another in-group that got created for you. I'm too busy to brew coffee in the morning like, people have been doing for hundreds of years. I have an on-the-go lifestyle.
Yeah, for me, it's not like
I want to spend $2.50 per cup at home. How can I do that?
See, I only do it because I can get them very cheap. If I was paying like full price for the K cups, no fucking way.
You think Jack, your cost of coffee with milk and sugar or whatever you use. From like maybe 15 cents a cup, like well over $1.50, and you're still making it yourself.
Nah, my coffee in total cost me less than $1 a cup.
Okay, yeah, it's still way more. But you go to Costco. You're going to Costco. Yeah, you're spending like $150 to get like 1,000 K cups in one case. It's on the shelf right next to the 3 packs of pianos.
Yeah, exactly. The 3 packs of upright pianos.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not fucking doing that. So.
But no, I will cop to the fact that I have a Keurig style brewer in my house. Yeah.
So I think that's just another in group where they're selling you on an image. You know, and I think you nailed it. You nailed it. That's the reason why you go ahead and do that, or that's the excuse that you make for yourself. I'm too busy, but everybody still has time to shitpost on Twitter.
You know what? If I had a coffee maker,
Which I asked you to do, so that's fine.
Oh, I'm just saying, if I had a coffee maker in my bathroom, I would sit there and brew coffee while I was shitposting. But you know, I don't like pooping where I'm making my coffee. It affects the flavor.
Before you go to sleep, it affects the water. It's probably like something there.
Poop
Before you go to sleep, you put the fucking grinds in the thing. Right? Most coffee machines will have a fucking timer on it if you need that. And then you do that before you go to sleep. Takes like 30 seconds.
No, yeah, I hear you.
Literally takes 30 seconds.
I understand that I'm contributing to the problem.
Holy shit. No, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. I think it's hilarious. I get to fucking watch all you idiots buy into this bullshit and throw your money away. I'm like, look at what they're doing now.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. I've got no excuses.
And by the way, motherfucker, I don't think people are wearing enough hats.
I've heard that's an issue.
Yeah, that's an inside joke. I probably shouldn't have done that. But I'm not going to. I'm not going to explain it, so.
I'm not going to explain the hats and why people aren't wearing it.
I don't feel like, and that's the point of an inside joke. And like, hey, Hatman, don't make inside jokes while you're recording something to put on YouTube. Go fuck yourself. I'll do whatever the hell I want.
You've been othered, audience.
You want to get me to fucking do what you want me to do? Start watching. All right, go. Hey, here's something I've never said before. Subscribe. Turn on the notification. If you like what you're watching, send it to your friends. Suggest that they check it out. Until then, I don't give a fuck what you think.
Diddle our notification bell.
What was the thing from the commercial, the 5-minute commercial I made that you did the voiceover
the bell
for?
Calls us and all that.
Hear the ring. Let us inside of you.
Ring the notification bell.
When I heard,
calls us.
When I heard your voiceover, and I had, because we had a basic loose idea, like I was creating all these AI animations on Pika videos, which is fucking amazing. Anybody who's interested in AI video, it's really good. Go, and you can use it for free right now in beta in Discord, on a Discord server. It's fucking wild. And that's what I've been using for the Alex Jones overlays.
Yeah.
At the ends of the podcast. So when I made this fucking commercial, which I think right now is titled Do This One Thing to Change Your Life. I was trying to do like the clickbaity title at the time when I cared.
It is humorously applicable though, considering the narrative of the commercial.
It's apropos. So, you know, when I put this together, I was like, we need to do a voiceover. Here's like the basic concept, and I showed you like a few clips, I think, that I had already created.
Yeah. And you told me like, you know, like stuff that you wanted to use. And
you scripted it, and I read it over, and I was like, okay, I need more of this, less of that. But then you did, when I heard the voiceover, I was like, I didn't know you were going to sound like a sexual predator the entire time. Holy shit, that works. It was fucking hilarious. Like the first time I listened to it, I was like, oh my God, that's the best thing ever. Like, it was so perfect, I wasn't even laughing. I was just like,
Yeah, I should really, like, make some kind of a voiceover account to sit there and be like, hey, hire me to be dumb on your fucking whatever.
I don't know, I think you smoke too much. You used to have a good voice for that.
I used to have a good voice. Why? Too much rasp to it now?
It's a little too much rasp, yeah. I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh, no, I hear you. I know that there's rasp to it.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. You live your life. You're living life. You're not sitting on the sidelines.
Could always get some throat lozenges. Might clear it up.
Those
could always speak in a slightly higher key. It gets rid of the rasp a little bit.
Well, it did. Yeah, you should. I mean, there's money to be made there. I mean, I know somebody who was looking into that. Just this person has no follow through with anything. So, but spent a lot of money to get started.
Yeah.
Just never started. So.
I've seen their equipment. It's in my apartment.
It's good. It's impressive equipment. We got to start doing some more projects where I can have you do voiceovers for shit.
Oh, no, yeah. That could be fun.
That could be a lot of fun. We got to start making like commercials and stuff. That'd be a lot of fun.
I've been practicing on my telenovela narration voice lately.
Ooh, let me hear a sample of that.
Man, I just don't know what to say off the top of my head.
Welcome, my friends, to this new telenovela. We are coming here today to find out what happens to Jane.
Ooh.
He's sultry and sexy and just has a little bit of Antonio Banderas.
All of a sudden, I'm getting a little quake there in my grundle, and I want to know what happens to Jane.
Well, you'll see. You'll have to check in next time to find out.
I'm intensely curious, and all of a sudden I need to wipe my ass, but I'm not sure anything happened.
Your ass is so swarthy.
Very much so. A little too much.
little too much, so.
We might have to take a break.
It's all that coffee, man. The oils just go right through your
I
butthole.
have a new subscriber.
A new subscriber?
I turned the New World Order, made them notified of Grandma's Bakery in Hemlock Farm.
Why are you telling Grandma's Bakery about the New World Order?
Grandma's Bakery is now saving your New World Order, and they're going to look at it later.
Why? Dear God, why?
Because I turned them on to what you're doing, and Bob said to me, "Where do you find all this crazy shit?" I said, we're taking the world over.
Slowly but surely. One Grandma's Bakery at a time. Dude, you... One of these...
Hope you got some muffins out of it or something.
These guys are going to be like... Oh no, here comes that New World Order guy again. Smile and nod. Hey, yeah, I saw it. Oh,
It's interesting.
well, I tell you what. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep an eye on the subscriber number, and if that motherfucker doesn't go up in the next few weeks, we're going down to Grandma's Bakery. I'm gonna be like, what the fuck? What gives?
Also, I'd like a chocolate croissant.
I want 2 chocolate croissants. I only want to pay for 1, and my fucking friend comes in here and buys coffee at least 3 days a week. You can't subscribe to my channel?
You need to support him in his acid reflux.
I think we need to do this grassroots the same way that they do mafia operations. Storefront to storefront.
They are from Jersey, and they have friends.
Then they'll understand.
Yes, of course.
Listen, I'm not asking for 10% of your till. I'm not asking for points on the VIG. I don't have any money to loan you. It's mine. I need your eyeballs. And if you're not watching, put it on mute, let the video run all the way through, give a thumbs up. That's what I need.
See, I'm just surprised that our investment in advertising bricks didn't pan out after we threw them through people's windows with notes attached with the URL on it.
Great. Grandma's Bakery might need a brick with the URL written on it thrown directly through their fucking window. But hey, maybe we don't have to do that if they subscribe of their own free will.
Let's make them be the bull salesman.
I think if they're from Jersey, they'll understand what we're getting at.
Yeah.
I think a little this, a little wink, a little nudge, and right in the face. I think they'll get it.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Right in the kisser. I think they'll get it. I don't think we have to be over to the top. I think they'll understand what we're subtly trying to convey.
Sure.
You're just like, where were we?
Where am I?
Is the caffeine kicking in yet, motherfucker?
Oh, I'm here. I just don't feel like you are.
Oh, I need to start drinking again.
Oh, Lord.
What about your aunt in Jersey running the card game?
The card game. No. I don't fuck with the people who are actually in the mob. I want to be like a pretend mafia person. I'm not going to go to somebody who actually has a card game in West New York. Harry. I'm not doing it. Do I look like suicidal?
Then you're not like me.
Well, you fuck it. I'll give you the address. You go talk to my aunt.
Okay.
Contact
Christ.
them. We'll make them a muffin that can't refuse.
I'll go to Grandma's Bakery and talk shit. I'm not going to actual mafia people in West New York. I'll send you. You fucking walk in there with your new toy. you tell them, hey, you guys need to subscribe to the NWO. They'll be like, the fuck is this guy? Boom. But, maybe.
It'd be a shame if something would have happened to your internet.
Whoa! What the fuck's he talking about my internet? Huh?
You know, routers, that can be problematic.
Well, we do have a fucking Jewish space laser. I mean, we can threaten them with the space laser. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start an internet campaign. If you do not like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and watch at least 30% of the video, we're recording, right?
Oh, shit. Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
I saw you make a face when you looked at the screen, and that's happened before. Okay.
No,
I saw you make a face. If you do not subscribe, turn on notifications, share the video, and like the video, and leave it running. I don't care if you have it on mute. Leave it running in the background for at least 40 minutes. We are going to target you, your children, and or your property with a death beam from outer space. There you go.
No.
And we have the decoder rings. We're going to send each other messages and talk about who we're targeting next on Twitter publicly, and you motherfuckers will not know what we're saying. It might be you.
That's, we'll send them a message that they can't construe.
That was punny, but that was way better than before we got coffee. The coffee's working. That was really good. Send them a message they can't construe. That was very good. That was very good. All right, you guys talk for a second. I got to blow my nose. Oh, wait. I have a tissue right here. Yeah, we're doing that. I'm sick of playing games. I'm kind of sick of playing games here. All right? I make pretend that we do this for fun. All right? Hey, I didn't have any of this stuff when we first started.
I totally thought that sentence was going to go, hey, I didn't have any fun.
I'm not having any fun. I spent money and I'm having zero fun. I did this to get rich. You motherfuckers need to make me rich. Why the fuck am I doing this? And if you don't make me rich, I'm gonna blow your shit up from space. Because my friends are Jewish, and I get good bagels in Pennsylvania, so fuck you.
Imported from New York.
Obviously. No shit. Where else are they coming from? They're not coming from California.
I wonder what bagels are like in California.
Terrible.
I've only been there like once or twice. The Mexican food's on point.
Why is that?
Gee, I wonder.
Yeah, the Mexican food in Texas is on point too. People make me angry. Their shitty coffee and their K-cups, and they're not watching my videos.
Hulk mad. Hulk mad.
They don't realize that by not watching my shit, they are putting their own lives on the line. And they act all pompous like I'm not going to kill them. And it's a little irritating. Wait, you think I don't have the balls, or you don't think I have the capability? Either way, I'm insulted, and it makes me want to vaporize you more. I showed him one of the lasers on the fucking podcast. It's the first thing we had here that had any views. I think it's because people were threatened, and they were trying to assess our technological capabilities. Well, guess what? I showed you. It's there, and then you stop watching? I can figure out who watched and who stopped, and I'll vaporize you first.
All right, fair enough.
I think that's fair. If murder's ever fair, that's the fairest it gets. I like where this episode went so far.
I really feel like we're talking about the topics that need to be talked about.
No, I
mainly
think
watching us.
Me and my pocketbook pretty much trump anything in the news right now.
Pun intended.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of. I mean, it was like right before I said, I was like, yeah, let's use that word.
Hey, why not?
Why not?
It's not really his last name anyway. His last name's Drumpf.
Is it?
So, yeah.
Several generations ago.
Yeah, the Trump family when they came over from
Drumpf.
Drumpf, I think.
Whatever ancestor changed that, best move.
Oh no, yeah. As far as branding goes, 100% better.
Perfect word. Perfect. Like, that one decision changed the course of a family, created a dynasty, and altered the personalities of future generations.
Indeed.
I mean, that's magic. One word. If you can, one word, and everything is altered for 100 years.
That's why I changed my last name to Good Sex.
What changing one word created the political climate we're in now to a large extent, and the bifurcation of the American political mind. And if you change your name to Good Sex, it would have no effect on anything except you'd stop getting laid.
I feel like it's supposed to work the other way.
It wouldn't.
Well, that's sad. That was a lot of paperwork for nothing.
Yeah. You know, I mean, try again. First, you don't succeed. That's pretty amazing, though. I mean, that's a fucking magic trick. Change one word, and you changed the world dramatically for over a century.
Have you ever gone down the rabbit hole of why people in Hollywood have their names? It's really fascinating.
Oh yeah, it's because when you're SAG-AFTRA, you cannot have the same last name as anybody else in the Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah, I know, but there's this whole like weird like chain of names that's really funny to go down. I forget who it starts with.
Well, there's so few names available that some people find out that their last name is already taken by somebody fictitiously, and also it's like a name trading sometimes.
Yeah. So there's this one post that I saw like years ago, so I wouldn't even know how to try to look it up, but it was actually going through like this literal chain of people that starts with like some actor in the 40s who, like, because of the nationality of his last name or like its difficulty to pronounce or whatever, like changed his name to a fictitious name.
Okay.
And then through like a chain of bullshit, like, because then somebody came along who had that name as their literal name, now couldn't use it, so had to change their name to something else, which affected somebody else who had that name.
Right.
So there's this chain of actors who have fake names just because of like all leading back to like this one origin point of this one guy who changed his name or something. It's really funny.
You know, the thing that it does for the elite and the Illuminati and the secret satanic worshipping pedophile cults of California is that you can't tell where there's dynasties. You can't tell who's related to who. And that's really the reason why we set it up that way.
Oh, you mean like the fact that Nicolas Cage is actually Francis Ford Coppola's nephew?
There you go. Or because, you know, nephew could not have the same last name. You don't know, like, Goldie Hawn is the mother of...
Goldie Hawn is the mother of... Oh, man.
Shit, what is her name? The super skinny...
Something...
She's Iron Man's wife.
Oh, Gwyneth Paltrow?
Yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow.
I don't think that's right.
Pretty sure.
No, I think that Goldie Hawn is the mother of another actress who doesn't have the same name as her, but I don't think it's Gwyneth
I'm
Paltrow.
pretty sure it's Gwyneth Paltrow. Check it out. Let's look it up. We never do that. Come on, be a little Jamie for a second.
Well, it's always tough for me to do because...
I know, you're using your fingers on a touchpad. Just use the fucking mouse. Where's the mouse?
I hate it.
How was that?
Crunchy.
Are you gonna buy me another one? I kind of like that. I've had that mouse for like 10 years, dude. It's like a great mouse.
So you're saying Gwyneth Paltrow. So I don't think it's Gwyneth Paltrow. I do know that she is the mother of somebody who doesn't share the name.
Gwyneth Paltrow's the one that hooked up with the rock star and they have a kid called Apple.
Gwyneth Paltrow's mother is Blythe Denner.
Oh. No, it was her picture that I saw. But she looks so horrible. I thought that was Goldie Hawn. Oh, okay.
No, so Goldie Hawn, like I said, is...
look up Goldie Hawn.
She's definitely the mother of an actress whose name is escaping me. I can picture her face. I completely forget her name.
There's Apple.
Yeah.
And the dude...
is the guy from Coldplay.
Yeah. And he has a fucking line in one of his songs, "Shoot an apple off my head." That turned into a sexual pun when you name your daughter Apple.
I mean, I don't know if that's why he did it.
I think it's funny either way. I don't care what his intentions are. That's fucking perverted and hilarious.
So Goldie Hawn, Kate Hudson, that's it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I mean, you have these adrenochrome drinking pedophile power cults, and you don't know that you're building family dynasties because they're not allowed to have the same last name. It's perfect.
But yes, that is.
I mean, they could start a family pizza place with no basement, if you know what I mean,
with no basement,
and you wouldn't know that the family owns it,
and you wouldn't know what they're doing in that lack of basement.
It
should be investigated.
It should definitely be investigated by somebody who's heavily armed.
Yes, and absolutely silly. Well, you need a silly person.
Good addition, Diane.
Hey, you need a silly person to check out a non-existent basement.
Just in case anybody watching didn't know that we stand against random violence in pizza places, I needed to add the word silly so they know we're being silly.
No, anyway. If you're going to investigate a basement that doesn't exist, you have to be some kind of silly person, was all I was saying.
See, wouldn't it be funny if the basement actually does exist?
Oh, I would love it.
And it's like a secret entrance?
I would love it if the basement actually existed and there was nothing like that was going on like what they thought was going on, but something like completely weird, like the manufacturing of sentient androids or,
Or like, instead of like dog fights or cock fights, it's like cat fights or something like
midget wrestling.
Or midget wrestling or puppet fights like in that music video. Is that Imagine Dragons? They have the puppet wars.
I don't know. Puppet fights.
Yeah, you showed me the video. Like they have like the puppets and the puppets have superpowers.
The puppets have superpowers?
Yeah, and it's like an underground like fighting ring and the puppets are all kept in cages and they're like, and they're made to fight each other, and the one girl walks in.
Wow, I have no idea what you're talking about. Are you sure this wasn't a dream?
Yes, I saw the video the other day. He watched it. You saw the video I was watching the other day while I was working with the puppet fights, right? Yeah, you showed me this fucking video.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Is it Imagine Dragons?
So strange.
Oh, fuck this. Jamie, pull it up. Do a Google search for that music video with underground puppet fighting. No, you have to put that music video. It came up with the suggestion, underground puppet fighting Goldie Hawn. What do we not know about? Imagine Dragons, radioactive. Motherfucker.
So
you showed me that video.
That is definitely not the video for radioactive. What you're talking about is this, I think. Like, so the video for Radioactive, as far as I know, does not involve any kind of puppet fights.
Is this a fan video?
Maybe.
That'd be a fucking amazing fan video. No, it has the band in it.
Oh, you're right.
Fuck you!
Weird. I do not remember this.
How do you not?
I don't know.
You showed me the video. You're like, I really like this video.
And
I was like, puppets, really?
I probably put it on because I really liked the song and had never seen the video, and maybe I was so drunk that I forgot the video.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, I did not remember the video having.
No, you claim to have a nearly endemic memory. It is inexcusable for you to forget a music video where puppets are fighting.
Giant holes in my memory. That is not fair.
Nowadays, I'm totally into puppets. I get it.
But yeah, puppets fighting in a music video.
We should have our puppets on display during the podcast. I think we're going to set that up before next time. I want mine
just floating around somewhere.
Yeah, because they look just like us, man. They're fun. I like that.
You could always
I want them here.
You could always sit there and do the thing where you've got them because before if anybody's looking for Easter eggs, who's not watching this, if you look around in certain podcasts, there's actually a big bird staring back at you in the wide shot from underneath the table. But you can always sit there and hide them under the table so they're just peering out like trapped children.
Yeah, well, another Easter egg, I had a quick cut where we disappeared in the podcast and we were replaced by puppets for half a second.
Oh yeah, and the funniest thing is I did not even know about this and you were eagerly waiting for me, but it's mostly I re-listened to our podcast to hear how it went while I'm driving.
Yeah, so you don't watch it.
So I'm not actually looking at the fucking video, and I happened to be listening to that one while I was in my personal vehicle instead of my work vehicle. And so in my personal vehicle, my phone is attached to the dashboard. So out of the corner of my eye, I sit there and I'm like, wait, what the fuck was that? I had to sit there and back it up and be like, did you put puppets of us? And fucking, I didn't even know the puppets existed at that point.
No, you know what? Actually, quick break. I'm gonna go get them. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, so these, I don't know, man. These just turned out so fucking well. So the person who makes these, I just call her the crazy cat lady, which is apropos. She has, I helped her start an online business where she's selling these things now, and she has gotten so good at doing recreations from life, which there's a huge market for. She's gotten so good at that now that I'm actually updating her page soon, so you can like submit a photo of yourself or somebody you know and have her like make a puppet of you or of the person as a gift or whatever. I mean, dude, that's me. Come on.
No, I hear you. No, it turned out very well.
So I want these on display here. I got to figure out a place where we can put these where they're actually on camera. Hang on, I got yours over here. Where can I put this so it's not going to get fucking...
Want me to bring the stands in?
Yeah, after we're done, not right now. Yeah, I'll figure it out. I don't know where to put them where they're going to be not interfering with our shot, but they're still on camera. Like, we got pretty tight shots in here, which isn't a big space. Listen, this looks more like you than you do.
I'll agree to that.
You know what? And this is just evidence that you're replaceable.
Oh no, I'm fully aware.
Say that again.
I said, no, I'm fully aware. Ah, you want the camera on there? I gotcha.
I don't know, man. I think that's...
Oh no, they
awesome.
turned out very well. Yeah.
I love it. I fucking love it. Oh, and Erwin Schiff. I know, like, probably not a lot of people know who this is, and this was on our last episode.
As he runs.
But if you watch episode number 3, Death and Taxes, this guy wrote a book called The Federal Mafia, How the Government Illegally Imposes and Unlawfully Collects Income Taxes. And if you watch, like, YouTube videos of this guy, he's dead now, but that looks just like that motherfucker. That's him.
Oh no, yeah. I
Look up a video of Erwin Schiff right now and put it on.
Do you want me to just put on a photo instead?
I guess. Yeah, that's fine. We're not going to get copyrighted for something like that.
Oh, no. I just meant so that we don't have to contend with, like, the audio and everything since we don't have that set up well.
Yeah, I can just turn the volume up. Now, go to that one where he was a little younger. Yeah, in his prime.
Hold on. I'm bringing it. Darn you. Just let me get this video uploaded. Anyway. Ah, crap. His picture's on the right side, and so are we.
Go back to the Google search.
Yeah. That's also on the right side.
Right click, open image in new tab. There you go.
Yeah, no. I was working on it.
All right. Oh my god, that's small. Fuck. Anyway, looks fucking just like. I mean, that's great. I was like, holy shit, that looks just like that guy. Good job. An old greedy Jew that doesn't want to pay income taxes. Look at that. Perfect. So that's Harry's personal hero, so he got the puppet made for that. So eventually what I'd like to do... Are we playing pool after this?
I have no idea. I haven't gotten in contact or anything like that, so...
Okay. Well, if we don't, maybe we should spend like 5-10 minutes and come up with a script. I'd like Alex Jones to interview Erwin Schiff. I think that'd be fun.
I know, yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, we should do that. We're going to raise Erwin Schiff from the dead, and maybe he has an announcement to make. See Harry's all happy. Like, yeah. Yeah, so I want to have our puppets set up. I think that'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the only spaces where you could really get them in is if you had stands that brought them kind of over our shoulders in the
I already have Ralph here.
Oh no, I meant like if the head of your puppet was
like
over here behind you and the head of my puppet was over here behind me.
Yeah, I just have to move some wires and shit. That should work.
Yeah, because then it would at least be in the shots of each of us, but it would probably make the wide shot a little cluttered, but you know. I don't think it'll be a big deal. I don't think a lot of people are A, watching period, and B, staring intently at our visages.
I think I'm the only person that does that. I'm so enamored with my own image. Oh, look at me.
I'm beautiful.
I'm on TV. No, actually exactly the opposite, but that's okay. But I am gonna I'm narcissistic enough that I'm gonna curiously look at when I put the other hat on and be like, how does that hat look on me?
Not as good as this one, I'm going to say.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't think you did enough to like make sure that the brim was like shaped well before you sat there and chucked it on, though.
Fair enough. Okay.
Because I know that you've been wearing this one for a while, and you've got it like, the way that the brim is set up is very nice. That one, it was kind of haphazard.
You're actually not, what I do to my hats, I mean, when you get right down to it, is considered to be ruining a fedora. Like, it's supposed to, all the way around, it's supposed to be like up like that. That's how they're made, and to pull it down in the front. But anytime I saw like a noir,
yeah, they've always got like the front of it down.
The front of it, it's tipped to the side and down, and I always thought that looked fucking cool as shit. That's why every fedora that I buy, I end up just over and over again, I keep pulling it down until it just stays like that.
Are you sure it's not a different type of hat that you want? Because there's a lot of hats that are very similar. Like, I don't think there's like too much of a difference between like a trilby and a fedora.
I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. But I mean, if you watch Blacklist, see, I get most of my information just like happenstancely.
Yeah, just stumble across it in like some random YouTube video or television show.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, they're not talking about the thing, so why would they make something up? So I'm like, oh, so I'm going to take that piece of information as gospel, because that makes sense, because every time I buy a fedora, it's not shaped like this.
Yeah.
If it was meant to be like this, wouldn't it just be like that? And somebody in Blacklist, what's the fucking main actor from Blacklist?
Oh, James Spader?
James Spader's character, who always wears a fedora, somebody steals his hat and they're walking around with it and they're doing the thing that I do, and he looks at them really angrily. You're not supposed to do that. You're ruining the hat. So I just took that as gospel, because it's just it's ancillary to the show. It's not,
Yeah, I gotcha.
I was like, why would they make that up?
Yeah, you would think that if they were making a commentary on it, it's because it's supposed to show how much of a hat aficionado he is.
Exactly.
Whatever,
yeah. So I'm like, well, that must be, so I gain a lot of information that's in my head that I take for granted from things like that, where I'm like, I'm believing it, I'm not looking into it. I'm not going to waste my time doing that. But I'm taking it as gospel because there's no reason for this to be anything but true,
Well, it's kind of the interesting thing of having grown up alongside the internet and having existed before. It's like, there is so much apocryphal information that we took as
That's the third time you've used that word. How are you using it? What's the meaning for it?
So something that is apocryphal is something that is not actually true.
Okay.
Like, so it's just specifically in the context that we've been saying things in.
So why do they call the lost books of the Bible apocryphal texts?
Because they're not meant to be canon, I suppose?
Yeah, but if it's just something that's not true, rather than saying untrue, what's the difference between saying apocryphal and untrue? Because if it just means untrue, then the Bible itself should be considered an apocryphal text.
Well, sure, but only in the concept of the fact that you don't believe in the Bible.
Yeah, I also don't believe in Cat in a Hat. It's as much a...
So, a story or statement of doubtful authenticity. Although widely circulated as being true. That's what apocryphal is.
Oh. Yeah, so the Bible itself is an apocryphal text.
Sure, if you don't believe in the Bible, it definitely is.
Believes in the Bible.
Not me.
People who believe in the Bible are the same people that buy Starbucks coffee. And listen, I was right. Doesn't matter how many of you motherfuckers insist I'm wrong, I still get proven right over and over and over again. I'm the outlier who has the unpopular opinions that is consistently proven right. So yeah, the Bible is an apocryphal text. I'm going to stop saying in my opinion ever. Seems like
my opinion's the only opinion.
Seems like a waste of breath. Like, if something is definitely a matter of opinion, you should know that that's the way I mean it. But if something is absolutely capable of being proven true or false, I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm fucking right. I've never been proven wrong.
And when I'm what was that tagline? And when I'm wrong, I'm even more right or whatever.
I don't know.
Even when I'm wrong, I'm right.
I got James Spader on my mind now. I have the Lizard King quote in my head again.
You don't even know my name.
You think my name's Robert California? I'm the Lizard King.
He's so good in that.
The Office was such a great show. I miss it. I don't want things to end. Like right now I'm in a serious Tears of the Kingdom hole.
Mm.
And I'm at the point where they're like, spoiler, you get to a point where they're like, here's your new quest. Like you get quests and side quests as the storyline progresses. My quest now is find Ganon and kill him.
Yeah.
Like that's the quest, and I'm like, let's do anything but that. I don't want
to go everywhere else first.
I don't want it to end. I'm going to do every fucking side quest. I'm going to find everybody's pony. I'm going to find every cat that's stuck up in a tree.
Well, as somebody who played a lot of RPGs in the 16-bit era, like, it wasn't like the worlds couldn't be as vast because it was all top down and everything.
Sure.
It's like, yeah, everybody knows the old school RPG video game thing is wherever the game tells you to go
somewhere else.
Go everywhere else first because
right.
That's where all the crazy hidden shit is, and you might not be able to get back to this place later.
Right.
Yeah, with the newer open world stuff, it's like if you try to go by that, it's like you won't unlock certain abilities until you get to certain parts of the story quest or something like that. You know?
Oh yeah, no, you do have to allow the story to progress. But I'm at the point where it's like, okay, are you done yet?
Yeah. You're at the final countdown, basically.
And I don't want it to end, so I'm going to make sure there is nothing left for me to do before I go kill Ganon. And we were talking about this last night. Like, there was so much left to do in Breath of the Wild after I beat the game. But I couldn't stay motivated because there was like you said, like once you beat it, there's a sense of closure.
Yeah, there's a catharsis that comes with beating it that then like going through like the rest of the game, it's like, well, but to what avail?
Why would I do it now? Like what's new armor going to get me? What is upgrading my armor going to get? Like it's not going to do anything.
Yeah,
now.
I've already beaten what is purportedly the most difficult challenge of the game.
I saved the princess, motherfucker. I don't care about your cat being stuck in a tree. What are you going to give me? 50 rupees? You know.
See, I like the people who are like really good with their hand-eye coordination at video games and stuff like that because they played tons of games and like sat there and pick up something like Breath of the Wild and it's like, if you want to, you can just go straight to Ganon in that game right off the rip,
right,
with a couple of twigs in your pocket,
right,
and go and fight him butt naked. And people who are good enough at video games have done that. It's like, can you imagine if that was like your first run through Breath of the Wild, straight to Ganon, kill him one shot? It's like, yeah, I can only imagine that person like sitting there and be like, wow, that game was boring.
Not worth $60. It's interesting that you can't do that in Tears of the Kingdom because when you turned me on to the fact that you could do that, like I had no idea. And then you showed me a video where somebody does a run through of the game and they beat the game from start to finish in less than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Because the only parameter is you have to go through the tutorial area of the Great Plateau to get the glider to get off of the Great Plateau. It's like once you're off of the Great Plateau,
you can do
it's like
you
can go straight to Ganon.
See, I didn't even I didn't put that together in my head. So it's interesting. And I always thought that was kind of neat. Mm-hmm. But they didn't do that in Tears of the Kingdom. There are certain things that you have to
go through in order to get to the point where you can get
in order
to
for
it,
him to appear in certain places. And
I think that probably came as like a response to a lot of the fans because like everybody thought that Breath of the Wild was a masterpiece, but a lot of people did bemoan the lack of like a real storyline to it. Like it felt like everything was
Breath
like,
of the
after
Wild?
the fact. Yeah.
I thought it had a good storyline.
Oh no, yeah, but it's all done through those memory flashbacks and everything
Sure.
like that, and people complained about it like a little bit, and
People
so
will complain about anything.
Yeah,
if you're
whatever
complaining
you
about
do,
Breath of the Wild, holy shit! What are you fucking retarded?
well, it's like, and that's
I'm a person who really doesn't like video games, and I went in a hole playing that game for 6 months.
Yeah, and
Who's complaining?
I think the thing is that over the course of the series, whenever you have particularly video game serials are really difficult to deal with, just because it can be so many things to so many different people depending on where you got on that train. You know, like, because if you started like we did with the original,
We've been on that
Legend
train
of
since
Zelda,
we were like 7 years old.
Yeah, so it's
where
like
I was 7, you were 5.
Yeah,
like,
the original
like
Legend of Zelda was just like plonk, you're in a map. There's a cave and 3 ways to go.
Yeah, and some asshole says, hey, it's dangerous out there. Here's a fence post.
Only if you go in the cave. You don't have to go in
You
that
don't have to
cave.
go in the cave. You can just run around and not know what to do.
Yeah.
Probably go check out that cave, dummy.
Yeah, I mean, they put it right there. They're telegraphing pretty hard.
It's pretty hard. Like, right in front of you, there's a hole. A big black circle. Go step on the black circle. Then you get a fence post. Congratulations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this piece of lumber.
Take this piece of sharpened lumber. It's basically something that you could buy at a Ren fair if you're 8 years old for $20. Like, that's what he gives you.
Yeah, pretty much.
There you go. Who the fuck thought wooden sword was a good weapon to have in your action items list in a video game?
I think it was just that they were trying to think of how they could progress stuff. It's like, and I'm wondering if
Well, try harder. Wooden sword, not great.
yeah, it's one of those things where I wonder if that's actually what it was called in Japan, and maybe they just like translated it differently because it showed up as brown on the.
It does show up as brown. Maybe it was like supposed to be like copper sword, or
yeah, bronze maybe.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's just bad translation.
Oh,
Look that
dude,
up.
Yeah, it could be. I
Look
don't know.
that up. Do a Google search. Is wooden sword bad translation? Let's find out. Put Zelda wooden sword bad translation.
Zelad. Good stuff.
I wonder how much Jamie charges for podcast people to send their producers to him and learn how to actually do their job.
Shut up, asshat. I'm also typing with one hand because of the way I'm positioned. He's
Yeah,
got a
so does
console
Jamie.
in front of him. Are you suggesting that he's masturbating?
No, he has, I don't know, he has something to, because Joe always says, best one-handed Googler in the world. So
I got you.
I assume he's doing something else.
Maybe he's messing with audio levels or operating the camera console with the other thing.
Yeah. Well, I know he has to do, he goes between the cameras. I think he's the only other person there other than security, so. But you didn't type in bad translation. Because that's how you're going to know if it's actually like a translation issue.
Okay, I got you. I'll take a look.
You just typed in Japan.
Yeah, I wanted to see what it was called in Japan.
Oh, okay. I see.
Oh, that's literally bringing me to Google Translate.
God damn it. Wooden sword guy.
Wooden sword guy.
Her line in Japanese is pretty much the same. This isn't enough to make me talk. I don't remember
that.
Is the Master Sword in the original Zelda? No, actually, you had a fence post.
Well, the highest one that you got was the magic sword.
Right. It wasn't called the Master Sword.
Sword giving guy.
It was the only difference was like it was a blue blade or something in the original, right? It was like a different color.
Yeah, so the blade and the hilt changed color in the original Zelda when you sat there and got the upgrades, because the one was at the top of the waterfall.
Every sword Link has wielded in the series.
Ranked. It's dangerous to go alone.
It would be really funny if, like, it was not intended to be a fence post.
No, that would be funny, but I mean,
I never thought of that.
But it might be that it was meant to be a fence post. It could go either way on that.
We're not seeing anything popping up here, so yeah, I guess it really was meant to be a fucking wooden sword.
I mean, so the reason why it
what a lack of creativity.
So actually, the reason why it might be a wooden sword is because of the creativity that went into it. So the reason why.
Here's apologetics for a beloved franchise. Go ahead.
Well, no, I'm just going to tell you the origins of how it came to be. So Shigeru Miyamoto, who created Mario and also Zelda, everybody knows him. He's like a rock star in fucking gaming.
Yeah.
He sat there, and The Legend of Zelda is actually based on his childhood.
Oh, okay.
So he lived.
So he created the story for this?
Yeah.
This wasn't something that he bought or screwed somebody else out of, like Mario.
Oh no! What do you mean, like Mario?
What?
What do you mean? Stole or something like Mario?
Well, that was created by two people who gave up the rights to the characters to Nintendo for like very little money.
Oh no! What? No, Shigeru Miyamoto created. Yeah,
do I have apocryphal information in my head?
The word of the day is
Yeah.
apocryphal.
Well, seriously, you're going to say a word like that 3 fucking times. It's going to end up being the word of the day. I don't know if we're doing Sesame Street for adults here or something, but this episode is sponsored by the word apocryphal.
But yeah, no, I've never heard that.
Really?
Yeah, initially. So Mario was created by Shigeru Miyamoto in Donkey Kong. He wasn't called Mario at the time. He was called Jumpman. And the reason why he came to be is because, and this I don't know if this is a true story or not, but supposedly what it was that he was creating a Popeye game, and then they couldn't get the licensing to the character, so he had to change it.
Oh, okay.
So Donkey Kong is supposed to be Bluto, your girlfriend that you're saving from him is supposed to be Olive Oil, and you're supposed to be Popeye,
Neat.
and then he had to change it.
All right, well, hey, man, listen, you know, I obviously have apocryphal information. You would know better than me. So Zelda was based on his childhood, and
yeah, so
wooden sword.
So, well, that's why I'm saying it might be a wooden sword, just because like it was about his imagination as a child, because there was a system of caves that was like near where he lived that he would go exploring, and that's where the concept
day,
of Zelda came
he
from.
found an old man, and the old man said, "It's dangerous out there. Stay in here with me." And he gave him something long and hard, and he called it wood, but it didn't feel like wood.
Oh, it's so veiny.
And ever since that day.
But yeah, if you imagine the concept of the story coming from a young boy.
Whatever happened to that guy who lived in the caves behind?
But no, if you imagine the basis of the story being kind of the imagination of a young boy exploring caves, then yeah, I guess him running around with a wooden sword might not be completely out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, I'm so happy that was a part of our childhood. We literally played with wooden swords.
Oh yeah.
Beat the shit out of each other, broken bones. I don't think kids do shit like that anymore.
Dropped bricks on our heads.
I don't think kids do shit like that anymore. Like use their imaginations to create a world for themselves.
I think that is. I think
like that was a game. We had rules, but we had to make those rules up as we went along, and we were just making pretend. We're just playing pretend. You know? Yeah,
and I do think that there's a certain amount of like in the eventuality that I ever had children, which I don't anticipate or want. But like yeah, that's one of those things where it's like I cannot fathom like these parents who sit there and park their kids and like here's the TV, you know, here's the iPad, play with that, you know. It's like it seems like it's giving very specific direction to a formative mind that should be allowed to kind of come up with its own concepts,
own thing, its own world, its own boundaries and limitations, and yeah, I'm so happy that we got to experience that type of childhood. And maybe if we didn't grow up in abject poverty, we would have never had that experience. I mean, that's a trade-off, you know? That's a possibility. That's a possibility. We may have been preoccupied with shit if our folks had any money whatsoever. It's possible.
I mean, I'm sure that
we probably also would not have been beaten severely, sold into slavery on the weekends, you know, all that stuff. But
yeah, it wasn't fun.
No, you were going to say something. I interrupted you again. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's hard times in Reagan's America. But I forget what I was going to say, actually.
Well, I was saying that, you know, maybe we would have been distracted by the trappings of wealth if our folks had any resources or access.
Sure. I do think that with the advent of technology as such a pivotal part of entertainment, it's kind of changed the game a little bit.
Oh, yeah. But I'm saying even back then, in the 80s and 90s, perhaps if our folks had any access, we would not have been left to our own devices that much.
Sure.
Where there's like, hey, there's nothing here, and we found like a rotting fence, and we were like, we can make swords. And that became a fucking thing that we did for a couple of years.
Yeah, whereas if our parents were wealthy at that time, it wouldn't have been like us playing with like high-end tech. It probably would have been more like us being like
sports,
pee-wee soccer teams and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, or gymnastics or piano or, you know.
Yeah, well, hey, man, I would have loved art lessons. That would have been great. I always felt like I failed in some way that they didn't just like pool their resources to make that happen for me. Like, man, if I was any better, maybe they would have done that.
If I was any better.
No, serious. Like, that's the way I felt about it. Like,
that's kind of sad because everybody
really
always told you how good your art was. when
I
you were a kid.
really wanted to be like sent to like a special school for people who wanted to do that. Like, I that was like a dream of mine when I was a kid, and it's just like never happened.
There wasn't a Hogwarts for artists.
Yeah.
You didn't get an owl that showed up
Right.
in a cupboard under the stairs.
That's exactly the sentiment. I think you nailed the feeling I'm trying to describe. Yes,
I'm special.
exactly. Because if your folks pool their resources into something that you show promise in, it kind of reinforces I am special.
Yeah.
I can do, like, oh, you're gonna spend money on this? Oh shit! I thought you were just saying like it's good because you tell me that about everything.
Wait, you're investing in me?
Like, oh my god, maybe I am really good at this. Maybe I am better than the other kids at this.
Nah, I hear you.
Yeah. But alas,
'Twas not meant to be.
was not meant to be. That's okay. But at least they found an artist, an unsuccessful artist, to teach me for free. That way he could spy on me and relay information back to my parents while they were in that Bible-based cult. So that worked out. So I got a little bit of training.
Painting brought you to Jesus.
Oh yeah, that's the way that went.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot. Yeah. Jeebus. I love that guy.
That story was apocryphal.
It's you like the it's you fucking Sesame Street, right? That story was apocryphal with an A. Fucking make the Sesame Street.
The Count was always my favorite character on Sesame Street. I wonder if that's where I ended up with my gothic sensibilities.
Cunnilingus begins with a C.
This episode of The New World Order Now is brought to you by the letter A for apocryphal and the number 666.
Sponsored by the Book of Enoch.
Delivered to you through the anus by viewers like me.
Well, what do you say? We end this bad boy. We do a little Alex Jones in here, and because I'm jonesing for some Jones, and then we see if we're gonna go play pool, or we figure out what else the day has in store for us.
Jonesing for the Jones.
Jonesing for the Jones.
But yeah, that sounds good.
Ready to wrap this bad boy up?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's do it. We'll come back in a second with Alex Jones.
Indeed. Boom.
Got an idea. Let's bring the puppet lady here.
She asked me, she wanted to come on here and bitch about reverse discrimination. And I was like, you want to come on my show as an old white lady and claim that white people are being discriminated against? I'm not doing that.
In what manner does she feel discriminated against?
She did a video with Laquita, the black nurse puppet.
Oh, and people gave her shit?
And she had one comment, "This feels racist." I was like, honestly,
Yeah,
the first time I watched it, kind of did.
Kind of does.
Kind of does. It's not, but it
Sure,
feels...
it's not mean-spirited.
It feels a little racist for some reason. I mean, it's because the puppet's saying Miss Joanna and Miss this and Miss that, but honestly, down in the South, that's the way people fucking talk.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where...
Especially black people. I'm sorry. That's my experience.
I'm just saying I think it's one of those things where just because of the nature of how it's being done and who it's being done by, it ends up feeling like, ooh.
Nobody knows she's white. Her face has never been on the camera.
Yeah, but even the puppet design, I felt like was like almost made me feel a little weird.
I designed that puppet.
Well, there you go. Makes sense now.
That was one of mine. Leroy and Laquita are mine. I wanted them to be overblown stereotypes.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Maybe she should make a puppet of Obama.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Gotta have big ears on that.
Yes.
He has very pronounced ears.
Well, we're still doing this. We are going to have her create, I want a puppet of Mr. Biden, and I want a puppet of Donald Trump, and I want a puppet of Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan is going to mediate the presidential debates. Because that was like America's dream and it never happened.
Yeah.
Rightly so. He shouldn't do it. But Joe Rogan's going to have like, he's going to start off normal, and then like halfway through it, his eyes are going to be really red, and he's going to start talking about UFOs and shit.
Yeah.
Dude, you have to help me write this, because I green screen, like I'm building a fucking podium, like the whole fucking thing. And we're making, now that she's that good at doing lookalikes, we're doing it. Because she tried to do a Trump puppet that turned out like shit when we first started the business. She's actually really good at that now. So we're redoing that. As soon as I can afford to buy the materials, we're doing it.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, we got to do it. We got to get started on it now, because I mean, I want to beat the debates. You know what I mean? I want to have that video come out before the debates actually happen.
All right, Alex Jones here, coming to you live from InfoWars, and we'll just cut right into it. We got to get these headlines into your head so you can listen to these lines. All right, Mississippi's literacy program shows improvement. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm shocked by this. I don't know if you've ever been to Mississippi.
Does it say Mississippi, Alex?
Does it say Mississippi? Oh, you're right. It says Mississippi's literacy program. So I'm going to be honest with you here. Now I am not surprised. So, assuming that this is coming from a local paper, which I think is pretty clear and evident, I'm going to tell you. It's if you've ever been to Mississippi, you understand that state was created as a joke on America. They made it spelled that way to just confuse and confound the people that we were sending down there, and just if you couldn't spell the name of the state, that's where you got your homestead. All right, Mayor Paris to homeless.
That's probably true.
Well, see, this is a mayor who gets stuff done. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to guess he's Republican. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to say very clearly that I am on this Mayor Paris' side. I don't like his name. It sounds very foreign. But you got to put the law down with these homeless people. You sit there and you go through these cities. You go to Portland, Seattle, anywhere that's a what we call a blue state. You're sitting there and they call it blue because everybody's just sad. It's depressing. You sit there and you go through there, you see all these homeless people. Why can't they go home? I don't want to have to see them. They're littering the street. They are human refuse, and they need to be cleaned up and put in some kind of box somewhere. I don't know what you call that, but that's where if these people can't afford homes, then they shouldn't be on our streets. American streets should not have homeless people on them. They need to go home. All right, homicide victims rarely talk to police. Now, here's what's troubling. Can I tell you this? The fact that they rarely talk to police has me somewhat concerned. Because at some point that means that a homicide victim has talked to the police, and that is satanic. You've got these dwarf goblins, you've got them sitting there, and I don't know what kind of spells they're conjuring, but if you sit there and you have a homicide victim conversing with police, there's two questions you need to ask them. Who is your master? And how can I ban him from this realm of existence? And I'm going to tell you, we're going to take a step toward the direction of that second one, because if you need to sit there and get rid of the evil that is in your body and intestines, if you want to expel and exorcise those demons without exercising your body, we got some pills that'll take care of that for you. What do we got?
Today, Alex, we have ED, erectile destruction.
Erectile destruction. Now, when you sit there and you talk about possession, it's a very softening experience that happens to you. You sit there and you get this murky, wibbly wobbly liberal ghost who just sits there and gets you. Oh, maybe you should care about the homeless. Maybe they don't have homes to go to. You get possessed by that. That spirit will make you go soft on these homeless people. And if you're sitting there and you want to be the solid kind of Reagan-fearing individual who will sit there and tell these homeless people to go to the homes that they should have had to begin with without actually helping them find homes? Because guess what? That's communist. You got to sit there and you've got to get erectile destruction. You don't suffer from ED. They will suffer from your ED. If you sit there and you need to pound it home, you need to sit there and you need to put the rubber stamp of justice, the veiny, rubbery mushroom stamp of justice onto these homeless people. You slap them around a little bit after you sit there and you take erectile destruction, and I'm telling you, they're going to go home. Now, let me tell you what we do to make this. We find the hardest penises in the greatest racing stallions that have ever been raced. And once they are past their studding, they've sat there and they've made their peace with their horse god.
Here we go.
Who lives on top of a mountain. We take those penises and we sit there and we just kind of like milk them, and that milk is what we put into these pills. And I'm telling you, it is 100% non-dairy. It is not soy though. And I want to make that perfectly clear that there is no soy. Soy is turning the frogs gay. Now,
Jesus,
if you don't want to sit there and have this limp-dicked response to homeless people not going home, you need to get erectile destruction. All right, the bra celebrates a pair of historic milestones this year. Now, I don't know if I would call that celebrating, because it's really depending on what that bra is holding up. And if it's celebrating a pair of historic milestones, I mean, that sounds like a beautiful woman to me. I would, if you wanted to name a woman's breasts historic and milestones, that's fine. I will celebrate those. Looking nice and perky, lifted but separate, like that's one of the concepts that we like, is equal but separate, and that makes a perfect set of historic milestones to be celebrated, and that's downright American.
Very patriotic. I like that.
All right, and annual cutting of the cheese ceremony is just one of many events at the festival. Now, I'm going to tell you, that festival sounds like it's full of a lot of hot air. Because if you are sitting there and you are celebrating the cutting of cheese, where does cheese come from? I'll tell you, it comes from goat milk. Because some ancient proto-Frenchman decided that he was going to drink some evil animal's milk and not even drink it. He said, I'm going to leave it out in the sun. And just let it turn into this horrible abomination. And you're going to sit there and you're going to be at a festival where they're cutting the cheese. I mean, how insane is this to live in a world where we're celebrating this French communist nonsense of cutting the cheese? And frankly, it doesn't pass muster with me. And it just, I'm telling you, I'm so furious right now. It just breaks my wind and I can't talk anymore.
I was waiting for it. I knew you were going to end strong. Right? All right, man. Well, we're recording this before the holidays. Alex, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Enjoy your grandparents. Thank you, everybody, for watching the New World Order broadcast. And just remember, we're watching you, too.
Someone is watching. There are strangers